Hello, friends. Yesterday, we left with the question, how did God's wonderful world go wrong? Well, today we're going to see that the reason is because we rebelled against God's good rule and we tried to live life our own way. So why is this box so important today? Well, if somebody asks you what you believed as a Christian, you might be tempted to skip the idea of our rebellion, of our sin, or tone it down maybe. We want to emphasize perhaps that God loves us despite our brokenness, or even when we mess up, rather than saying anything about sin. However, if we ignore our rebellion, our sinfulness, then even if we believe box one, that God is in charge on the throne, that he's the good ruler of our world, then why should we need to change because of that? Why would we need to do anything about that? Few people are quick to admit they have a sin problem, if you will. However, we can be quick to see it in others, not least at the moment when we've seen people hoarding toilet paper or breaking social distancing rules. We see sin in the world, don't we? And we see evil and awfulness even at the moment. And for Christian believers, this is a truth that should give us great humility and a real dependence on God. And the Bible encourages that as well. Let's see this verse here now. Romans 3 verses 10 to 12 that say, there is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God. All have turned away. There's two key points here, isn't there? There is no one who does this. There is no one, not even one, no one, all. This is true of each and every person. And what is it that's true of each and every person? Well, it is not only that we are not good enough, that we're not righteous, it's also that we actively turn away. No one seeks God. So again, now let me clear that and start the scary process as ever of drawing today's diagram. Well, as ever, we start with God on the throne. That's God's crown. And the sad truth is that from the very beginning, men and women everywhere have rejected God by doing things their own way. We all do this. We don't like someone telling us what to do or how to live. In fact, we put a big cross over that crown because we don't want anyone to tell us how to live, least of all God. And so we rebel against him in lots of different ways. We ignore him and just get on with our own lives. We disobey his instructions for living in his world. We shake our puny fist in his face. And not only that, but we prefer to follow our own desires. Here is you and me over here. And what we do is we make our own little crowns. That's what this is. We make ourselves to be little rulers because we prefer to follow our own desires. We prefer to run things our own way without God. And this rebellious, self-sufficient attitude is what the Bible calls sin. And this would be bad enough, wouldn't it, to be rejecting God? But of course, despite what many of us think, we can't sin in isolation. We can't live life our own way in our own little world because the world doesn't live under us. The world is still over here under God's rule. We're still part of the world. That's awful, isn't it? I'm going to just do another world, see if it's any better, only slightly better. Because when we reject God, and we not only make a mess of our own lives, but we make a mess of society and God's world. Because the whole world is full of people bent on doing what suits them. People rejecting God's rule and not following his ways. We all act like little gods with our own crowns, and we compete, therefore, with one another. The result is misery. The suffering and injustice that we see all around us goes back to our basic rebellion against God. So there we've seen that in rebelling against God, we have made a terrible mess of his world. Which begs the question, what will God do about this? Well, I hope you come back next week and find out. We're going to take a break for Bank Holiday Monday, for the weekend. So we'll see you again Wednesday morning. But if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, St. Luke's Hampstead, that will give you reminders of when these videos will pop up as well. And why not use the weekend to keep practicing, to keep going over the material we've looked at so far, keep practicing those boxes. Until next time, have a great weekend. And hopefully see many of you on Sunday for church. Bye-bye.